Hey Internet, Harris here. So there's usually one watch that people think of when they think smartwatch. But for me, somebody who is getting a little bit tired of being so distracted by all the technology in my life, and I wanted something that wasn't quite a smartphone on my wrist, and also as somebody who doesn't like charging their watch every day, and thirdly, as a runner, kind of a serious runner, those are three characteristics that made me want to look for a different watch. And the one watch that kind of fit all three of those boxes, and even if you don't fit all three of those boxes, it still can fit a couple of those boxes, which might make it a compelling device for you, is, well, you know by the title of this video, Garmin. And I've been using Garmin pretty much full time for maybe 9 months now, and I've tried several different ones ranging from a Fenix 5S to the Garmin 645 to the touchscreen and colorful Garmin Venue. And I figure out what I like and don't like about them, but ultimately that this is a much more compelling device than I initially thought when I made my Garmin versus Apple Watch video back in the day, which a lot of Garmin fans took offense to. Here's everything you need to know about using a Garmin today instead of something like an Apple Watch. Quickly before we get into the Garmin experience, I want to give a shout out to Best Buy for giving me the chance to talk not specifically about Garmin's, but rather about the new Microsoft Surface Pro 8, which as a student I thoroughly enjoy. Best Buy has graciously sent over a unit for me to check out, and they are the sponsor of this segment. So there are actually three pieces to this setup. Of course, there's the Surface Pro 8, but there's also the Surface Pro Signature keyboard and the Slim Pen 2. While they're technically three pieces, they fit together with the power of magnets and impressive engineering beautifully. It's great. This tablet is crazy well built and sturdy, featuring two USB-C Thunderbolt 4 ports, a charging port if you want to maximize charging speeds, a headphone jack, a camera on the front and back, and of course that amazing kickstand that lets you take it almost completely flat and almost completely upright. It's amazing. This lets you use your tablet in pretty much any spot or position, including, yes, on your lap. While it's thin and lightweight, it's also using one of the best chips inside that you can find on this type of device, the Intel Evo. The bezels have shrunken this year, giving you more screen and less border, with a 120 Hz refresh rate that's great for gaming, for scrolling, for writing, for anything that you need to do. And with a minimum of 8 GB of RAM, there's plenty of performance for your desktop needs. The USB-C ports allow for connection to separate displays and monitors, and of course you also get all of your favorite apps, whether they're simple tablet apps for reading or more complex for photo, video editing, graphic design, gaming, and whatever else you want to throw at it. Now the keyboard and pen take this experience to the next level. It takes already an impressive tablet and turns it into a fully functional and high-powered laptop. The keyboard has without a doubt the best typing experience I've ever used on a detachable keyboard. It's tactile, responsive, with smooth keys and great spacing. There's a function row up top, and below is a trackpad that you'll feel right at home with a glass surface that makes dragging your fingers across a breeze. And if you really know what you're doing, one of the first things you'll change in the settings is making the downward motion correlate with downward scroll. But neatly and magnetically tucked into this keyboard is the Slim Pen 2. First off, it lets you erase using the back of the pen. That's awesome. It also lets you click the top of it and customize what that does. There's a button on the side that you can click and customize what that does. And it's a really, really high precision and just great stylus in general. But here's the real kicker. When you're done with the pen, you put it in its slot and then you lift up the keyboard and it magnetically attaches to the bottom of the tablet. This not only hides the bottom of the chin of your tablet, making it just look slimmer and more streamlined, but it also gives you a really comfortable typing angle for the keyboard. Finally, it reduces the surface area it takes up on your desk. It's a win, 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 win. So if you're a student like me or someone on the go, or just anybody looking for the flexibility of a tablet paired with the reliability and productivity of a laptop, the Surface Pro 8 is an awesome choice. I invite you to check out the link down below to check out Best Buy's offerings of the Surface Pro 8 with these accessories. They've got in-store pickup and fast delivery to get the Surface Pro 8 in your hands as quickly as possible. Now let's get back to the other on-the-go device. Now, every Garmin has a slightly different design, amount of bulk, and feature set, but for starters, they're almost all circular with physical buttons, ranging from a generic sporty smartwatch look with the Garmin Venue to a slightly less sporty, more classical, and more pronounced look of the 645 or 245 to the very large, clunky, rugged metal look of the Fenix 5S. For me, I like the Garmin's which don't pretend to be an Android Wear device, so I lean towards something like the 245, the 645, or the Fenix 5S. While the Venue is a touchscreen watch, which sounds great, and it's the most colorful display as well, I again prefer the slightly more signature look of the 645 or the Fenix 5S. I love the buttons that are super tactile, super rugged, and it is a thicker watch than I was hoping for, and it doesn't always fit with all of my sleeves. But in general, I think that it's not trying to hide the fact that it's not a super sleek smartwatch. It is a bit more old school in terms of smartwatches, a little bit more analog in character, a little bit more classic with its metal build, and I like that. It is the nice in-between without trying to do too much and without trying to appear like something that it isn't. Navigating with these awesome buttons is going to be more satisfying than the Apple Watch's touchscreen, especially if you have dirty, wet, or sweaty hands in the summer or gloves in the winter. The old school buttons are awesome, not to mention the screens on the non-touchscreen devices are fantastic, and the brighter the circumstances are, the better the screen looks. There's also a backlight if you need to turn that on at night, but if it's in the sunlight, this is going to fare so much better than a typical LED display on something like an Apple Watch. Now, I also have the ability to customize the watch face to be exactly what I want, which is great, and this can sync with your phone to have things such as weather and sunrise and sunset and notifications and a lot of other different features. So in terms of customizing a watch face for you, it's great. This is the watch face I have selected, but you can change it to really anything you want. There's a bunch of different options, and you can download more from the Garmin store, and then you can customize the widgets and the toggles on it. So for me, I really like to have battery. This is sunrise/sunset, depending on whatever is nearest, your steps, your day of the week, the hand pointer, and then the analog face. And I love the data that this gives me. And then using the buttons to scroll up and down, you get to your different widgets. So for me, I go down, I have my heart rate, and this will give you the last 4 hours, so it's really easy to check what my heart rate was. Then underneath there, you have your notifications. So I can click on that, and I can see notifications, and I can scroll through them, and I can click on it and see more details if there's anything left. Then I have my day, so I have any activities I did, the steps, floors, stuff like that. Your last sport, you click on this, and you can see all of your activities. Then I have an altimeter. I just like to know kind of my height above sea level. And then I have a calendar widget, which syncs with my calendar app. It has an easy to access music controls. So by holding the middle button, you can choose between the music you have stored on your device, Amazon Music or Spotify, and then controlling your phone, including volume, play, pause, skip forward and backward. I love having that. And then I'm back on my main watch face. So you see all of those different options, and there's tons more that you can customize. So this is really a great amount of things you can do just from a few clicks away on your watch. And then if I go ahead and hold the very top button, I get my quick actions. So I get things such as music controls again. There is a wallet, so if you want to pay for things on the go, you can load up a credit card or a debit card onto here and pay using Garmin Pay. There's your timer, which I use all the time for tea or the oven or laundry, stuff like that. I love having the timer on my watch. Of course, there's an alarm feature, so this can wake you up with sound or just vibration or both. You can find your phone if it's lost. You can click a little button and it'll find your phone for you. It's actually very loud. And then do not disturb for when you are in class or going to sleep, so your watch won't give you notifications. And then the final 2 points about this watch that I'll talk about in this video would be notifications and battery life. And we'll start with notifications. So obviously I already showed you the notifications panel, which you can see any notification that you get on your device. Now you can turn on in the settings app for the Garmin to only get phone calls. So if you don't want to get distracted by anything else, you can just do phone calls. So for instance, if I were to call myself, you can see exactly what that looks like. And then I can click up to answer and it'll answer on my phone, or down to decline. I'll go ahead and decline. And you can see I missed a phone call. So that's not nearly as useful as the Apple Watch, which will allow you to call back, but it's still pretty good. And for other notifications, it works. And then finally for battery. So with the Apple Watch, if I want to use it for tracking sleep and going for an 8-mile run, it's going to die in the same day for sure. Whereas if I do that same thing with my Garmin, I'm going to get 3 days out of it at least. So it's really awesome for getting many, many hours of running, as well as using it overnight for sleep, and then continuous heart rate and still having a charge. It's just great to not have to worry about my watch tracking my steps or getting my sleep or anything like that because it is dying. So anyway, that is the Garmin. And while I talked a lot about the Garmin Fenix 5S Plus, this is a very similar experience to any other Garmin out there, just depending on if you want the chunky size and some of the additional tracking features that this has. Let me know your thoughts about Garmin versus the rest of the competition. Thanks for watching.